It's the Chargers Squad. Everything Los Angeles Chargers every week. Covering all the big hits and game-changing plays from the City of Angels. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Get ready and squad up. It's the Chargers Squad Show, starting now.
Hello and welcome to a Tuesday edition of the Locked On Chargers Squad Show. I am Pete Fox, covering sports in LA dating back to 2007 for ESPN LA and NBC Sports Radio. KENYON BARNER, 10 years in the league, 3 rings, joins us both Tuesdays and Sundays after the game. And Jim Daniels, JD, worked together with Jim at NBC Sports Radio. He's been covering sports in LA dating back to 2001. And will join us here every Tuesday, whether it's a win or a loss. But today, spirits are high. Confidence is high coming into this one, coming off a big win in Sao Paulo for the Chargers. The talk is at this point, hold on real quick here. Today's episode of the Locked On Chargers Squad Show is brought to you by FanDuel. Football season is here. Visit FanDuel on the app or on the website today and start planning your future bets now. Well, if you start to plan your future bets now, it's too late. So you got to start looking at, week-to-week bets at this point with FanDuel. But I'm sure you all know that. Anyway, confidence is high, guys, for the Chargers. Everyone's feeling like, hey, this could be our year. The people that are not Charger fans are looking at them saying, are they for real? Is the Kansas City victory what it appears to be a very big deal, or maybe not so much because the Chiefs aren't what we expect from them? So there's a lot of questions hovering around this win. As far as Charger fans go, they're chest pounding. They're all good. Like, hey, Justin Herbert is the real deal and potentially an MVP candidate. So KB, I start with you on that. Are the Chargers for real? Coming off that win, now that you've had some time to let it kind of set in, what you saw from them on Friday night, is that what we should expect on a more regular basis? And is your boy Justin Herbert a MVP candidate?
Listen, it's week 1. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Was it a good win? Absolutely. And it's a big deal because it is the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Chiefs don't look like what we expect them to look like. But the last couple of years, no one has expected anything from the Chiefs, but somehow they find their way back into the picture. But with that being said, I would love to expect this more from the Chargers. I love what I've seen. I like what I've seen. Herbert staying upright, protected. We need to get the ground game going more. Defense looked good in the second half. But it's game 1. It's week 1. So let's let this season build. We'll find out exactly who the Chargers are as season continues to grow, as it continues to progress. But let's not throw all our eggs in one basket off of one victory. Let's let the season kind of unfold and play itself out. And over the course of the next couple of weeks, we'll see exactly what type of team the Chargers are.
Don't want to be a prisoner of the moment. I want to answer a couple of questions from the chat from Timel and Golden Bong. David and Daniel still do the Locked On Daily Chargers podcast Monday through Friday. And then after the games, Daniel and or David will be jumping in here. So we have 2 Chargers shows for you. The Locked On Daily Chargers podcast, which still happens Monday through Friday with Daniel and David. And then we do the squad shows on Tuesdays and right after the game. So where is David? He's not going to be a part of this on Tuesday. It'll be us 3. Daniel and David then will join us for the squad show after the game. So everyone's still here. We're just giving you more content about the Chargers because that's what you want. Right, Jim? You're in LA.
Man, those guys are great too. I got to give them their props too, man. They do a terrific job because, it's not easy to do this every single day and come up with something compelling, something interesting. And those guys get it done all the time. So yeah, they're one of my first watches every day.
What's been the vibe that you've received being in LA, just around sports fans, whether or not they're Chargers fans? People still are, everyone's into football, and people in LA definitely have 2 very good options. And I don't know that the Chargers Rams is a big rivalry, but without a doubt, the Rams kind of hold the mantle for being the bigger team in LA. But I feel like the Chargers are right on their heels as far as the growing fanship. What's been your read, Jim, on the way people have responded to this opening win for them? I think most people are surprised by this and kind of like, wow, are the Chargers the real deal?
And that's it. You've asked the question. That's the one that I hear the most is this really the Chargers? Is this the real deal? The haters, the Ram fans, the Raider fans all want to say flash in the pan. The Kansas City Chiefs weren't ready. Let me say this. No one is ready for football anymore in week one. In KB, you let me know if I'm right or wrong about this one. All of them, I mean, the entire league looked unprepared to play football because they don't do preseason anymore. However, the Chargers, first offensive possession, impressive. First defensive possession, impressive. Justin Herbert, fast forward to the end of the game, was it 9 for 9 for 91 yards in the fourth quarter? This team is ready to play. Props to Coach Harbaugh for having these guys ready to perform. They put out the goods, and man, did they look good.
Yeah, I mean, there was so much to like about that game, and it was enjoyable to watch. We had a great time doing the post, the squad show after the game. We were just filled with confidence. Energy was high, and I'm assuming in the film room today and at the facility this week, Kenyon, they're still living off of this confidence. But at this point, you look at it and say, all right, we don't want to get to, as a player, inside that facility today and yesterday. I mean, they were probably off yesterday. So back to work today. Is it like, yes, that was good. Confidence is high, but we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. It's just week one, as you pointed out. We still need to stay focused, keep working hard, and keep the momentum rolling. So is that kind of the mantra today?
Absolutely. Not only today, but each and every week, because each and every week is a new week. Last week no longer matters. Last week was good on game day, and that was it. So now it's time to prepare for the Oakland Raiders. So as a coach and as a player, you're constantly hitting the reset button. Yes, you want to take the good that came from the win, that feeling you wanted to carry over into the new week. But this is it's another season now. Now we're preparing for a different quarterback, a different defensive line, different offense, different defense, where everything is completely different. But the carryover from the emotional aspect of it, the good vibes, the feeling, the good plays, you want to learn from the bad, take the good with you and get better at the good. But ultimately, it's a completely different week, and you're hitting the reset button.
KB, put $1 in the swear jar. You just called them the Oakland Raiders, and I expect you to San
shout
Diego
out to Las Vegas.
I expect you to call them San Diego once before the show is over, and if you don't, I will. So I'm curious about this. When you play a game that we kind of didn't expect from a game plan perspective for the Chargers, throwing the ball so much, coming out running and gunning right away, or gunning more than running, and it worked well, and they win the game. Do they look at this and say, well, that was kind of the 1 week at a time, or do they say, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, let's keep going down that road, it seemed to work well for us? Or do they just kind of scrap it and start over and say, all right, we got a plan for the Raiders now? What's your thought on that, KB?
Again, it goes right back to what I just said. It's a new week. The only time during my time in the league where you had majority of the game plan from the previous week carry over into the next week was on those Thursday night football games where it's a short week. You're playing on Sunday. You have Monday off. You're coming in Tuesday for a walkthrough, Wednesday for a walkthrough, and you're playing on Thursday. So you don't have enough time to implement new things. You don't have enough time to get guys. You don't have time. When you're in regular season and you're playing regular season games at the normal times, it's absolutely something different. You're going to have small carryover. The run game is the run game. But in the pass game, you're going to have different changes. You're going to have different adjustments. And you're going to do things based off of what the Las Vegas Raiders defense presents to you and what they shown last week on film. So you're going to carry some things over. And obviously you want Herbie to be Herbie the way that he was last week, because he was absolutely phenomenal. But at the same time, what does the Las Vegas Raiders give us? Where do we have advantage at? Do we have an advantage in the run game, or is it still in the pass game? Wherever the advantage is, that's what you want to attack, and that's what you want your game plan to be.
Jim, as a fan, I want to see them do exactly what they did last week. I mean, that's the kind of Charger team I think is a more successful team. We know that is not Jim Harbaugh's mentality. He likes to play, a down and dirty, run the ball sort of game. Greg Roman does too. So when you look at this, do you feel like maybe they've opened up a different portion of the playbook and let's dig a little deeper here and try more things more frequently because it worked once?
I'd like to think so. However, I have this cautionary number that I've run across that I want to share. Herbie's dropback rate in game one, 73%, 34 dropbacks. It was at 73%. Now, last year, he was at 57% for the dropback. However, in game one last year, he was over 80% on the dropback rate. And then dipped all the way down to 57%. So what I want to know is, I mean, is this flash for the opening season? Hey, look what we can do, and then we're going to drop back to defense and run the ball, or can we keep airing it out? I'd vote for keep airing it out. I like the result the first time, especially against a team. What did Mahomes put it up like 39 times, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I mean, this is kind of what the game is right now.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's going to be interesting to see what they bring to the field on Sunday at SoFi. One of the big questions I think will be, how healthy is Najee Harris? Somebody in the chat has asked that question. What are our thoughts on Najee Harris? And I feel like when he is 100%, they're going to utilize him more, and that's what we want, right? That's what we want to see, without a doubt. So I feel like he was testing the water. He was in there a few plays, 1 carry, 5 yards. So I think when he's more healthy, they're going to utilize him more. And that right there, KB, that's going to change the game plan without a doubt.
Absolutely. And to Najee Harris, you don't know what his conditioning is. You don't know what his practice reps are like. So you don't want to throw him into the fire when his body is not physically ready to take on an NFL game. So you have to ease him in, but we definitely need to see more of him. I think Omarion Hampton was in the game for maybe 54 or 56 of the snaps that was played in the game. And that is a high volume. And when you, that's crazy. It reminds me of Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey doesn't come out the game. But when you have a guy like Najee Harris and you have a guy like Hampton, you want to keep those guys healthy. The healthier your backfield is, the better it is as we get further into the season. So once Najee is ready, I do expect to see a heavy dose of what he is, because we all know what he is from his Pittsburgh days. This guy's rushed for 1,000 yards in the last 4 seasons, if I'm correct in saying that. Yeah. We know what he is. We know what he brings to the table, and he adds value to this running back room. So once the time is right, we will see a heavy dose of Najee.
Jim, speaking a little of health, somebody asked a question about what do we think of the linebackers without Denzel Perryman, who had 7 tackles, 5 total on Friday. He is questionable. So to me, he's playing. He's fine. But, in the event that Denzel Perryman is out, that is obviously a huge loss for this defense. But I feel like they've got next man up, and this defense is stacked.
Troy Dye, I'm not concerned about his play. I mean, obviously, you don't ever want to lose anybody. I mean, you want to be at full strength all the time. Denzel Perryman is somebody that you know that you can count on. But I like the backup. I like Troy Dye coming in there and having the opportunity. This is a guy that comes to this team hungry, right? This is a special teams player, and somebody says, "Look, I need a chance to prove myself, because I'm going to flatten some people for you if you just give me the opportunity." He's going to get the opportunity now, at least on some level, this week against the Raiders. And those guys, I mean, they proved last week, like I was saying about a minute ago, about Mahomes putting it up 39 times and Herbie putting it up 34. And the Raiders have shown they want to do the same thing too. We're going to have to air it out. We're going to have to put some points on the board in this division, let alone the whole league. But yeah, I like our backup so far.
A fan who is clearly a Dicker the Kicker fan, because that's his handle, unless it's Dicker. Hey, if it's Dicker, what's up? He says, keep them guessing, keep them off balance. Yeah. I think that's an interesting point from the standpoint that the opposition in preparing for the Chargers now has to prepare for something a little bit bigger and more than they would probably normally have to deal with or expect from the Chargers, because this is a little atypical for them, throwing the ball that much. So they're like, are they going to do that again? Or are they going to go back to who they are, or maybe a little bit of both? So that. I guess that's a good spot to be when you've got the opposition kind of off balance a little bit, right, Kenyon?
It's a great place to be, and that's what it is to be a coordinator in the NFL. You want to keep guys off balance. You want to keep them guessing. Never let them get a beat on what you're doing. You want to be unpredictable as possible. But you said something as far as the Chargers coming out and throwing the ball like they did. We've seen this from Herbie in regimes past with the last coaching staff. Herbie would come out and throw the ball. So you know what Herbie is capable of, and you know that he can come out and do that at a high clip. But, me being a running back, I am biased. We need to see a more balanced attack. We have to see I want to feed the young beast in Omarion Hampton. I want to see him get the ball and carry the rock, because I don't want to become one-dimensional. If an NFL team can get a beat on you, you become very beatable. And so I don't want to get in a position to where they know we're going to throw the ball 40 times a game and expect to win every game like that, because every game won't be that way.
It's a great point. It's an absolute great point. You can't be predictable, no doubt. We'll take the first break. When we come back, we did a lot of positivity to jump on, but probably can find a little bit of negativity. There's always something to clean up, right, Kenyon? There's
Always.
Somebody's watching film today going, I got to be better. I got to be better. So we'll talk about that after the break. Pete Fox, Kenyon Barner, and Jim Daniels, the Locked On Chargers Squad Show on the Locked On Chargers YouTube channel. Today's episode of the Locked On Chargers Squad Show is brought to you by Supply House. When the opening whistle blows on a new repair, get your crew moving forward with Supply House. Order today and see parts on your doorstep as quickly as tomorrow. What? Over 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, and electrical items for the most trusted brands in the business. And by the way, HVAC, Jim, is heating, ventilation, and AC. Their real-time inventory and honest lead times keep you from punting projects, while their industry-leading customer service always has you covered, has your blind side covered. They're doing football analogies. That's very clever. If you need parts for your project fast, supplyhouse.com has next day delivery. Talk about a game changer. They also have the free Trade Masters program. You can sign up for that today and score serious perks like priority shipping, lower prices, and a dedicated support line where you can talk to a human being, which is awesome. Visit supplyhouse.com to sign up for free. Use the promo code SHNFL5. That's Supply House NFL5. And you'll get 5% off your first order. That's SHNFL5 is the code. 5% off your first order at supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service. The Locked On Chargers Squad Show, Tuesday edition. Pete Fox, Kenyon Barner, Jim Daniels. 27-21 the final on Friday night. I got to be honest, I felt like it was worse than that. I felt like it was like 34-14. So I don't know, beating the Chiefs is beating the Chiefs. It could be by 1 or 6. It doesn't really matter. But at the end of the day, they played well in every phase of this game. But like today, what like Kenyon, if you could pull out one thing and say, in my opinion, they could be better at this one thing, what would it be?
My one thing, I'm going straight to the defensive side of the ball. I'm going to coverage. We've seen blown coverages, especially on the long pass to Hollywood Brown that made the game far more interesting than what it should have been. Here's the thing with coaches. Coaches are consistently and constantly telling you to communicate, talk. And anytime that there's a blown coverage or multiple blown coverages, it's usually because one guy does not know what he's doing. And so that should never happen on a football field, right? There's 11 guys on the field. We should all be communicating. So that's where I would go. The back end has to be better. Our secondary has to be better, especially as season goes on and we get into more pass happy teams. And, communication is key. That's key. That's the key to any working relationship. So right there.
JD, you walk into the receivers room today, and what do you draw on the whiteboard? Like who are you yelling at in the receivers room, or any room? Like obviously the receivers had a fantastic game, and we're going to talk about Quentin Johnson here in just a second. But what is the one thing to you that you wish they could clean up coming into this Raider game?
Well, before that, I want to do the coach thing. I want to go to the whiteboard. I want to write in there, who's better than us? Is what I want.
Nobody.
No. Where would you rather be? No one.
Listen. I can't say enough about Keenan Allen, what Keenan Allen does for this team. And I'm not talking about how many catches, how many yards, how many touchdowns. His presence on the team has got to be, and I'm sure this has probably been said a lot, it's got to be at the very least a calming force for Justin Herbert, just to know that he's out there running those routes. It takes pressure off the rest of the wide receiver room as well. Now, as far as things to tighten up, KB said it's defense. I'll be more specific. It's got to be the secondary because, and talking about the AFC West again, everybody wants to throw here. Okay. I mean, what did Geno throw for in New England in the rain? 362 yards. I think is what he went for. We saw what Mahomes, we know what he's all about. And it doesn't look like they have a very great running game. So it means they're going to throw a lot too. This is what, it's going to have to be about. I mean, it can't be all about Denzel Perryman. He can't run back there and take care of the whole place by himself. So I'd say secondary is probably the thing that we need to put the most focus on as far as being tight, being in communication, knowing what everybody's job is, because, man, one blown coverage can be the game, right, KB?
Absolutely.
Justin Herbert says the D-line is super bad. I wouldn't go that far. They definitely are the weak part of our defense. Uh, right. I would say offensive line, but not because they were bad, because I just feel like the offensive line can always be better, right? It's rare that the offensive line is perfect and the quarterback is untouched and has all sorts of time to throw. And again, I saw a couple of times where they got beat on the end, and it wasn't bad. I've just been hyper focused on the offensive line since the playoff game last year, where that was probably the reason they lost that game, and they got beat up and down the field in the trenches there. And so this is the thing that I feel like will lead. It's like relief pitching in baseball. This is what leads you to championships, or at least a championship quality caliber team. And for me, the offensive line can always be better, or at least as good as they were. And that's the hope. Back to Quentin Johnson, who had a fantastic performance, 5 catches, 79 yards, 2 touchdowns. What is the mentality for him today, this week, going into game 2? I'm not surprised. Why are you? Or I got to keep this going. Or, I mean, where is he mentally speaking right now, Kenyon?
Oh, he's high. It's game 1. Coming out the gate, you have a great game. Like you said, 5 catches, 79 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Should have been 3. I'm always put that out there. So the stat line could have been a heck of a lot better. If that 3 would have looked better than that 2. But if I'm Quentin, I'm picking up right where I left off. And the thing for Quentin Johnson is I need consistency. Can I come out and continue to stack the days and continue to produce days like this and put them on tape? Can I come out and be the guy that everybody expects me to be, that everybody wants me to be? Because it's not like anybody wants him to fail. No one wants him to fail, because if he fails, the Chargers fail. So can I continue to stack days? Can I continue to be consistent? Can I continue to show up in the moments and make the big plays that I need to make?
Yeah, I feel like this is a good spot for him mentally. It's hard for every professional athlete or every weekend hack. When you do whatever sport it is that you do well, it's you want to take that confidence and build on it. It's hard to kind of push away the doubters or the naysayers or whatever that evil demon on your left shoulder is. But I feel like he's in the best possible position after that week 1 performance to kind of just keep it rolling, right? Yeah. It's a whole lot easier to feel confident about things right now. And let's just hope that is his mindset. Like, I knew I could do it all along. And he's probably been fighting off the haters for a while, but after that performance, it's a whole lot easier for him to say, I don't understand why you guys doubted me, because I knew I was capable of that. I've done that before, and I can do it again.
And he's got to be excited about the fact that his quarterback knows where he is, especially with those other 2 guys on the field. I mean, everybody expects McConkey to, go for 1,200 yards and everything. And then now Keenan Allen returning. But, this makes it easier for all 3 of them, but especially for Quentin, because he's just going to get more quality looks. He's going to walk up to the line and go, oh, man, he's going to do the Randy Moss. He's going to be waving his hand up there. Here I go. I got it. 3 steps off the line, because he's going to get what he wants, because you're going to focus on McConkey, and if you got Keenan running the slot, running over the middle, willing to take that stuff, I mean, this could be a big year for Quentin.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Does it feel, Kenyon, like Justin Herbert will, it sounds ridiculous to say, but make him a bigger priority because he had a good game to start? Like, all right, I'm on your side. I'm with you, whatever. I support you. Let's go. I know he's not calling all the plays, but when he's checking down, he's going to have more confidence in him after that first performance.
Yeah, you got to have more confidence in him. But we seen this last season. Herbie, even in the inconsistencies that showed up last season, Herbie never stopped going to him. He never stopped giving him the ball. He never stopped looking for him. So there is a trust and there is a level of belief in him. So now it's a matter of, like I said, continually stacking those days, putting it on film. And the more that he does it, the more belief and the more Herbie will look for him. And listen, this season should be one of the easiest seasons of his career. Why do I say that? Because you have Lad McConkey, and now you've added Keenan Allen. You have 2 and arguably the best route runners and release guys right up there with Keenan Allen, Lad McConkey. Your job it becomes a hell of a lot easier, because who are you going to double team? We seen it last week, right? Where the Chiefs came down and they doubled Lad. Okay, well, I'm throwing to Keenan. Okay, well, your job just got easier. Like the pressure is not what it was last season, where there wasn't a go-to guy for Herbie. There's no pressure. It's not on you, Quentin, that's for sure. So this season should be a great year. He should get paid off this year. Let me put it that way.
Yeah. Do you think like if we see 5 catches average, that's pretty good, or should it be higher, like in the 7 to 8, 9? I'd like to see more to Ladd McConkey. If they throw to him 10 times and he catches 9 of them, that's good, which is exactly, they threw to him 9 times, he caught 6. So few more, like 10, 11, he'll catch 8 or 9. That's the number I want to see throwing to Ladd McConkey. 7 targets for Quentin Johnson, 5 catches. Is that pretty in the wheelhouse, comfortable number, you think?
For me?
Yeah.
It's hard because this receiving room is that talented now. It's hard to say, okay, I want to get you 10 targets, or I want to who's open? And you have
Justin's gonna walk up there and go, who's open?
Who's open, you know? So to say I want to get this guy this many targets, obviously you want to get the ball in Ladd. We know what Ladd is. We know what he is with the ball in his hand. He's crazy elusive, and it's weird to me how elusive he is. But how do I determine that? How do I go about that? I just want to get the ball to whoever's open. And like I said, you have 2 of the best route runners in the league in Keenan Allen and Ladd McConkey. You have one of the faster guys in the league in Quentin Johnson. So it's like, pick your poison. You know, who do I want to throw to? I'm going to who's open. So if it's 5, I said this last week. I said this may be a year where Ladd has 10 catches one game, then he has maybe 4. Keenan has another 10, then he has 5. Quentin has 11. This could be that kind of year because all these guys are that talented and they're great at running routes. So that's hard right there, Pete.
Yeah, and then you've got Tyler Conklin and Will Dissly. Somebody asked about that in the chat. Like, what do we think about the tight ends? You know, their availability. How much are they going to touch the ball? Obviously, as we've just pointed out, it's going to be tough for them, but they're going to be available, and that's going to make life easier for Justin Herbert.
And to that, Pete. Sorry, JD, I don't want to cut you off, but to what you just said, nobody's thinking about the tight end. So it will be easier for them, and they will show up like they did, like Conklin did and Dissly did with those passes. So again, this offense just got a hell of a lot easier with the addition of Keenan Allen. Go ahead, JD. My fault.
Isn't it
brother.
just what we want, though? I mean, we want those guys to stay in and block because we got such a great wide receiver room and choices.
Right.
And if you got those guys willing to just stay in and wait for their turn, wait for that moment when everybody's covered, and here I am wide open with nobody around me for 5 yards, boom, ring that cash register. I like the way this sets up a lot.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it's an embarrassment of riches to a certain extent. Let's hope they stay healthy, and you know, let's hope that they keep doing what they're doing. And somebody at the start of this show on the chat said something like a comment. Maybe I saw it on I saw it on a website that Jim Harbaugh is bringing out this is from Mike Florio. Jim Harbaugh is bringing out the badass in Justin Herbert, which is an interesting thing to think about. Like, I don't know that I didn't think that Justin Herbert was a badass, but you know, it's interesting to kind of go, yeah, that was probably his biggest win ever. And hopefully this season we see a different Justin Herbert. It's not that he was bad before, but we need more. And you know, that's kind of where we are thus far, 1 week in, off to a good start. So let's hope we can keep it rolling from the
I'm going to attribute this to Coach Harbaugh. You know, I love the energy that comes from this guy. I mean, everyone's talking about Pete, and I mean, it's because of his age. I get that, but I mean, he's on a mission to prove everybody wrong. I'm not too old to do this, but I mean, there are just some coaches in the league that are just next level in connecting with their players. There are guys that have got their face buried in the clipboard, and their game plan is what they're going with. And there's guys like you see Harbaugh walk up to Herbie and slap him on the chest, on the shoulder pads before, let's go. He's getting him pumped up. I love that. And I think they love that.
That was great.
Yeah, they definitely have to have a different sense of urgency and pressure on their shoulders this season, you know, week or year 2 under Jim Harbaugh. Sure. We'll take a break. It's the Locked On Chargers Squad Show. A little bit more about the running game after the break. Kenyon will, share his knowledge as a running back and break it down and see where potentially Najee Harris can add some more to this this running game, and hopefully he's a little bit more healthy and so forth, because you don't want to run Omari and Hampton to death in week 2. That's for sure. Pete Fox, Kenyon Barnner, Jim Daniels, the Locked On Chargers Squad Show on the Locked On Chargers YouTube channel, where you find the Locked On Daily Chargers podcast with Daniel and David Monday through Friday. All right, today's episode is brought to you by Game Time, one of my favorite apps on my phone. NFL season is here, and honestly, there's no better way to get tickets to a game. There's nothing better, honestly, than being in the stadium for any game, whether it's football, baseball, basketball. Being there live is fantastic, cheering on your team, but let's be honest, getting tickets can be a hassle. Between queues, login screens, prices jumping at checkout with fees, it can be frustrating. This is where Game Time comes in, and this is why I use Game Time and recommend Game Time to people. The app gives the advantage back to the fans. Game Time is fast, easy, and backed by Game Time's guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all fees are included, so the price you see is the price you pay. As I mentioned, when people say, hey, do you get free tickets? Can you give me some free tickets? I used to be able to, but not anymore. So when I get that question from people, I say no, but I can tell you about Game Time, and it is a fantastic way to get tickets. And if you go looking for games that aren't necessarily high level, like Chargers, Raiders, it's going to be a hot ticket, because it always is, because they have two very feverish fan bases, especially the Raiders. So that game can cost a little bit more, but if you find Chargers versus somebody that's not necessarily a rivalry, it might be a better deal. And that's where you go to Game Time to find those deals. And if you're willing to have the guts to wait closer to kickoff, you can save money that way as well. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Locked On NFL, LOCKEDON NFL. $20 off, swipe, tap, ticket, go download Game Time today. All right, there you are. Do you guys get that question all the time? I bet you do, Kenyon. Can you give me free tickets? Can you give me free tickets?
Still, and I don't play anymore. Literally, I just had some of that in my DM the other day. Hey, can you give me tickets to the Eagles game? Excuse me.
Yeah. Jim, we get that all the time, right? Still, like,
Never fails.
Yeah, you work in the media. Can you give me tickets?
Right. Well, you know what happened is there used to be hard tickets, you know, and now that everything is digital, there's nothing left over, at the radio station anymore, because they all get sent out an email,
Yeah, indeed. But yeah, that's where Game Time comes in, and it's not a joke. I'm not just saying that. It is a fantastic way to get a good deal on tickets. KB, running game, all in all, A minus, B plus. How do you grade it? We talked a full segment about the fact that they threw the crap out of the ball, and we'll want to see more of that. But from the running game, how would you grade it? 90 yards in total from the Chargers against the Chiefs. A plus, A minus, B plus. What do you think?
I mean, for what was presented, I'd give it an A. I won't go A plus, but with the options and the chances that were given within the run game, I think Omari Hampton did a great job. I love the way that he runs the ball. I love his physicality. I love his ability to get in and out of cuts. And I love the fact that he's always falling forward, obviously, unless there's 2 or 3 guys ganging up on him, pushing him backwards. But I said it earlier, this run game has to become more part of this offense. You have 2 guys, again, once Najee is capable, it will be 2 guys, but you have 2 guys that are phenomenal at what they do. We've seen it from Omari Hampton in college last season, and we've seen it consistently for the past 4 years with Najee Harris out in Pittsburgh. These dudes are exceptional runners with the ball in his hand. Najee Harris, for as big as he is, and his ability to make cuts, to read blocks, physical in the power game, that's where Najee Harris is going to add value. In the power game, he is a physical bulldozing runner that is north and south, but can use his agility to get inside out. We have to incorporate the run game more. Again, we had this conversation last year, with JK, the way that he was running the ball prior to his injury. But I thought the run game was great. And again, we're playing a better defensive front, in my opinion, with the Raiders and what they present and what they do. They do a lot. So we shall see, Pete. We shall see.
correct me if I'm wrong, but if Najee gets the ball a little bit more, that's going to help Omarion because he won't have as much work. His workload will be less. So when he gets the opportunity, he'll be able to take more advantage of it, hopefully, because they're not expecting that, or they're having to game plan for two different styles of running game. So to me, it feels like it will be beneficial to both of them if Najee gets the ball a little bit more. And maybe, I don't know, I love it when Justin Herbert runs, but at the same time, it's always a little bit tenuous. JD, when you see Justin Herbert running with the ball, are you like, or like, go get it?
It's both. It's because, he's a big guy, big strides. He covers a lot of ground once he gets rolling, but you just make sure you got to get down, get out of bounds, whatever. You can't fool around and one of these linebackers drill you as you're going out of bounds. I mean, some of these guys be happy to take a flag if it's going to knock you out of the game. But I want to pile on what KB said about the running game, giving it an A. I know some people might say, what are you talking about? They didn't even break 100 yards. Given the circumstances is what goes with that, because Najee Harris really didn't participate in that game. I mean, we need this guy to get, a handful of carries and keep the defense wondering, what he's doing or what the Chargers are trying to accomplish with him. So, again, given the circumstances and the opponent, last year's AFC Super Bowl champion defense. I'll give him an A too.
Kenyon, we remember that play where Mahomes dropped the shoulder.
Dante Jackson. I knew you were going.
Do we see Justin Herbert ever doing that? I mean,
listen, no, I don't want Herbert to do that. Listen, that's how you get a target put on your back. You're already the quarterback, so there's already a target. But once you go, so I'll give you this. What Pat Mahomes did, now every defensive player in the league, it was like, okay, he wants to be slick. We're trying to give you the benefit of the doubt that you're running out. So now, in order to protect myself and not to be made a highlight clip, every time you're to the sideline, you're gonna have to get out of bounds. Because I'm not letting off, because I know what your mindset is. I'm trying to catch somebody off guard. And Deuce Staley used to tell me this all the time in Philadelphia. He used to always say, KB, it's always on the line. Don't you ever relax on the field. The play is not over until you hear the whistle. And quarterbacks get this halo of protection around them to where guys let up 3-4 yards early if they're heading to the sideline. I don't want Herbert to do that to anybody. Keep the target. You already have a target on your back. People are already after you every time the ball is snapped. So don't do it, Herbie. Drop back, throw the ball, QB slide, step out of bounds. Look, please. Don't pour fuel on the fire, okay?
And I got to share something with you guys. I don't know if you know who the comedian Gary Owen is, but he is hilarious. He's a white guy. Most of his fans are black, and he's just one of my favorites. He was at this. He puts up clips on Instagram, and he started talking about football with this one guy, and the guy was a Cowboys fan, and Gary Owen says to him, "You got the wrong mixed quarterback." He's like, you needed the other mixed quarterback. And he was talking about Mahomes. And his analogy, and I don't know if he came up with this on the spot, but it is so accurate from an X's and O's perspective. When you look at quarterbacks that both run and throw the ball like Patrick Mahomes, he goes, the white side of them says stay in the pocket, find the receiver. The black side of them says run the ball. And when you are a mixed quarterback, sometimes you get confused and you don't know which one to do. That's why you're doing both, and that's why you see Mahomes make those crazy throws where he's leaping through the air and throwing the ball sideways because he's like, run, no throw.
That internal battle.
He's like, stay in the pocket, no run, no, stay in the pocket, no run. I thought it was so hilarious and kind of accurate. I mean, it makes sense to a certain extent. He wants to do both and is capable of both. So, he said that's why he's running the ball half the time and throwing the ball half the time. So anyway, I highly recommend Gary Owen as a comedian if you guys are interested in having more comedians on your Instagram. It is the Locked On Chargers Squad Show on the Locked On Chargers YouTube channel. Chargers on to face the Raiders. Let's talk a little bit about what we think we're going to see in the Raiders. They got a win this week over who'd they beat? Not a very good team.
Patriots.
Right. Yeah. 19-6 or something like that.
In the rain.
So what do you take away from that, JD? When do you look at that game and go, can we learn a lot from that as we get ready to face the Raiders?
Well, it's clear they want to get their rookie involved, and so he's going to be involved in whatever they do. But it's also very clear that they're going to throw the ball. I mean, Pete got Geno for a reason, and he put it up again. I think the number was 362 yards in the rain on the road in game one. So, and Geno strikes me as a kind of a guy that ever since he had his lung punctured by the Chargers sideline attendants, has had a chip on his shoulder that he needs to prove who he is and how good he is. And every time he steps on the field, that's not a bad thing for a pro ball player at all. So, I mean, as long as Geno uses that for motivation, it's great. And again, I think, so many people wanted to write that this Raider team off in the beginning. And I was concerned to start the season that they were going to be better than the last place team. As far as defense goes, I'm not as afraid of them as I am unsure what they're going to be able to do on offense. Again, we know they want to run the ball, get their rookie going, but we know Geno's going to throw a lot too. So, I mean, the secondary is going to have to be, this is where we're going to have our main focus first, because that we're already trying to, stack the line and keep things from getting out of hand up front anyway.
That punctured lung thing is what got Justin Herbert into the game early, right?
Yes.
Well, yeah, he was a rookie at that point, and they got Geno Smith to kind of lead him along, and he got hurt in his first game, and here we go. Here's the Justin Herbert era is underway. So I guess it's all worked out so far for the most part anyway. But 24 of 34, 362. They didn't really run the ball much at all. Ashton Genty, 19 carries, 38 yards. I mean, they tried to. Let's put it that way. They tried to. 19 carries, 38 yards, and 1 touchdown. So I don't know what to make of that, but from a receiving standpoint,
offensive line is not great.
Yeah,
that's what you make it at, Pete.
Okay. But from a receiving perspective, as we've talked about, the one thing that you think the Chargers could do better is cover and not have blown coverages. Brock Bowers with over 100 yards, Jacoby Myers with nearly 100 yards, 97 yards. Those two guys are going to be a lot to handle.
Now, Brock Bowers, that was a non-contact injury for him, wasn't it?
His knee.
Yeah. Now, that's something to keep an eye on too, because I mean, at very least, he's not going to be 100% this week.
And they're downplaying it, which kind of makes you think it's something more than what it is.
Of course, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, it's always a little different. I hate to use this cliche, but when the Chargers and Riders meet up, throw the records out the window.
Everybody.
Yeah. It's like Dodgers and Giants, but here's the thing that I'm always, you brought this up last week or going into Friday night's game in Sao Paulo. The Chargers very rarely have a home field advantage at SoFi. And that will absolutely be true against the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I almost said Oakland. there. I would have.
You just wanted to join KB.
Join you.
I'll call them the San Diego Chargers here in a minute.
Hey, come on, man. Just hop in the car with me, Pete. Hop in with me.
But look, Raiders fans are going to show up at SoFi. They show up everywhere. It doesn't matter. How big a factor do you think that's going to be, Kenyon?
I mean, not more of a factor than the Chargers defensive line should be versus this Las Vegas Raider offense. We said it last week. Almost every game for the Chargers is an away game, unfortunately. I remember my time there, it was preseason, and we were out at the Home Depot Center. This was before the move to LA was official. They hadn't had the facility yet. Literally every game in the Home Depot Center was filled with the other team's colors. Then when I came back, when I signed to Philadelphia after preseason, and my first game back was against against the Chargers at the Home Depot Center, and it was a Philadelphia home game. That's just what it is. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But at the end of the day, listen, it's football. The crowd plays a part, but at the same time, you got a job as a pro athlete to go out there and get the job done. I don't expect whatever the fan count is in favor of the Raiders or the Chargers. I don't think it shouldn't play a factor. Go out there and win a game.
Here's the one that I always watch, the matchup from a Raiders perspective. The guy that to me is the biggest problem maker on that team is Max Crosby. That dude is such a beast. And who's lined up against him? Will it be Pipkins or Alt? Which side does he come from? Do you know? It's probably Alt, right?
I think it is Alt. I think
So Alt's gonna have his hands full there, but that's the matchup that I will be watching to see how that turns out from the standpoint of Max Crosby. Just makes life difficult for the opposition. And as we've said, Charger line is under a microscope to a certain extent.
Well, you know who Pro Football Focus chose as offensive lineman #1 in week 1 is, don't you?
No.
Joel.
No. Okay, well, it seemed obvious, but
Yeah, Joel.
He looked
But
all
Pete,
pro.
to that,
Let's do 16 more of those.
yeah. Listen, if Max is not having the day that he would like to have over there against Joel, if I'm the Raiders and I'm smart, I'm gonna move Max around. I'm gonna find where the best match. I'm gonna put my best player on the liability on the offensive line. Crosby is a guy that can come from any position on the defensive line. So again, whether it's coming from the right end or the left end, if I have an advantage with Crosby on that left end as the defense faces the offense, I'm putting him over there and I'm gonna have him attack Pipkins all day. So again, you gotta pick and choose where you're gonna put him, where you want him to be.
I'm getting some much needed ridicule here. I made a mistake. I apologize. Adonis, you are correct. I do need to fact check. I thought this game was at SoFi. It is not at SoFi. It is at the Roomba. So it is in Vegas. My bad. Sorry. Chargers are in Vegas to face the Raiders at the Roomba. So you got me. Way to go. Way to be on top of things. We'll take our final break. When we come back, we will talk about, what are we going to talk about? How about, I love it when the tease takes way too long. Let's get into whether or not the special teams will win this game. Kenyon always loves to talk about special teams. So we'll get into a little bit of special teams discussion. I'm sorry it's always the last segment, Kenyon, but it's better than not happening at all.
Listen, this is no different than playing in the league. Special teams is always the last thing. No one cares about special teams. Don't worry about it.
And we give it some love, though. I mean, better than most people. All right. We'll come back and we'll talk about special teams for the last 15 minutes. Jim and I are just going to let Kenyon go.
Just what he wants.
Yeah. It's the Locked On Chargers Squad Show on the Locked On Chargers YouTube channel. All right, today's episode brought to you by Game Time Supply of FanDuel. NFL season is here. FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with this can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet $5, and if that bet is a winner, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app all season long. So make sure you get that FanDuel app on your phone. Make sure you start doing your research. Make sure you, come up with some solid takes or follow people that have solid takes and have strong opinions. And one of the things I love about being a hardcore fan, and by watching us here and listening to us here on the Locked On Chargers YouTube channel, we know you are a hardcore, solid fan with, pretty insightful takes because we're giving them to you. So take those takes and turn them into cash, turn them into profit at FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. All right, it's the Locked On Chargers Squad Show. We're going to do it every Tuesday or Thursday and after the game. Daniel and David still with the daily Locked On Chargers podcast, but the Squad Show will be 1 hour every Tuesday or Thursday and 1 hour after the game to, get ready for the next week and break down what happened last week. And last week there was plenty to be excited about for the Chargers. They get a nice 27-21 win on the road over the Chiefs. Although they were the home team there, it was still a road game, but I think it worked out well for them. I said going into that game that I felt like this neutral site, getting the Chiefs to start the season, was exactly what they needed. And I feel like getting off to a 1-0 start was fantastic. Hassan Haskins was the kick returner, KB. 3 returns, 67 yards, averaging 22 per. He had a long of 25. You don't like that idea, that selection, him in that role? Why not?
I just don't like his movement back there. I'm watching him return the ball. I just look at special teams from a different lens. I would put Darius back there. He's a much more he can get left and right. Obviously, what kick return is now, it's more it's built for a running back, right? With guys standing still, it's like getting behind the offensive line. So it's built for a running back. And so a lot of teams put running backs back there. But I didn't like the look of it. I didn't like his feel for it. Not to say that he can't do it. Maybe he's just not as developed as he will be as season continues to go on. I just think there's better options on the roster to put back there.
Jim, I'm surprised. Speaking of the return and the logistics of it, adding this 5 yards if it's a touchback, it seemed to work a little bit. I feel like we're getting to see more returns, not as many touchbacks, and there's a little bit more action on the kickoff there. Are you noticing that? Are you feeling like maybe they have fixed it? Because I'll be on record to say that this whole new kickoff over the last couple of years, I'm not a fan of. I like the old school way, and I'm sorry that people get hurt occasionally, but this is football. So I think this has made the change has worked as far as I can tell. Like, we're seeing a little bit more action on the kickoff.
Yeah, and I think that the latest improvement is working even more so than it did last year. I see more engagement now. I mean, none of us want to see the touchback. I mean, sometimes if you got a guy that can kick it deep enough and that's what you're after, if you're playing strategy at the end of the game, you have the opportunity to blast it out of the back of the end zone if that's what you want to. I thought it was funny. I was watching the Manning cast and Peyton was yelling, kick it out of bounds, kick it out of bounds. It'll give him a ball on the 40. I mean, you've got some options and things that you can do. But to your point, I used to think I liked the old way better, but what they've done now, I really like. These guys are popping the ball up. It's coming down around the 10 or the 5 or the 15-yard line somewhere in there and making teams feel the ball and making them play. I'm a fan. I like what they've done this year.
What's your take on this little kickoff thing, Kenyon? I don't know that we've gotten a clear picture of how you feel about it.
Well, I'm glad you asked. I like it from years past. Because now you are seeing more returns. Special teams, the return game is such a huge part of football. This is the only aspect of the game that can completely change momentum. It can completely change the outcome. The likelihood of you winning a game by scoring on special teams increases dramatically. And so I like it in comparison to years past where, you're kicking the ball out of the end zone, you're getting the ball on the 25. I like the fact that they moved that up to incentivize putting the ball in play so that these guys can get more chances. JD, like the original kickoff where it was pushed way further back and the ball was landing at about the 10-yard line, 5-yard line. And if you had a good kicker, it was barely getting to the end zone. And then you were getting returns, the Devin Hester days where you're really getting return. That is what kick return is. And it is a game-changing, momentum shifting. It is an exciting part of the game. And I hate that they've tried to eliminate it for safety reasons. And don't get me wrong, safety's great, but you can't protect guys on a football field. Not when guys are running full speed. Guys are as big as they are, as fast as they are, as strong as they are. Injuries they're going to happen. And this is how the league wants to make it better and doesn't like what it is, because now they've moved it up another 10 yards rather than getting it at the 25 or getting it at the 35. Put it back to. Yes, I want it back. Let special teams be what special teams was meant to be. They act as if special teams is the only area of the field where concussions and injuries are happening. It's not.
So let me pile on that by saying that, there's more engagement now with this pop-up thing, but with everybody bunched together like that, you're not going to see the Devin Hester 95-yard touchdown runs. That's not likely to happen anymore. I mean, it's going to be safer, but I mean, what are we doing here and how much are we paying for it? Come on.
Yeah, I just feel like we're getting guys that are, breaking off 10, 15 yarders, which is still fun. Whereas before we'd get, they'd run into, if they decided to run at all or, take it back, they'd run into the defense and be dropped pretty quickly. So I just feel like there's a little bit more excitement there. From the kicking perspective, Dicker, the kicker, 2 for 2, I guess the best thing when it comes to kickers is to really not have to talk about them, right? It's like, if they're making 4 goals, we don't have anything to say about you. Good job. Keep it up.
Hey, 3 for 3. Thanks. Go get a Gatorade.
And J.K. Scott, the biggest unsung hero on this team. I mean, that guy can blast it. He had a long of 53, which is, a long of 56, which seems kind of a little shy for him, but he only had 2 punts. So that was nice to see. So all in all, week 1 in the books, nothing but positivity. Always room to improve. We look at game 2 in Las Vegas at the what is it? Allegiant is the official name.
Yeah.
And the Chargers will take on the Raiders, both 1-0. And it's always interesting when these two teams get together, and it'll be interesting to see how they look different under Pete Carroll for sure. And I guess my biggest thing is I'm just really curious to see the game plan, and I want to see them continue to throw the ball and keep it in the air. But the balanced attack, obviously, we know that is essential to being a good football team. So hopefully we get a little bit more Najee Harris this week, and the running game is effective, and the Chargers come away with a win. Any final thoughts, Kenyon Barner?
Darius Davis has to be better as a punt returner. That's my thought on that. Got to be better.
Gotta be a special teams thought. All right, cool. We should just
absolutely listen.
Special team.
Y'all don't show love to special teams.
Talking
Can
about
Hassan Haskins step up if Najee Harris is not ready to go in week 2?
Like it.
I don't know. It's a good question. Maybe.
I like it.
Kenyon wants Darius Davis to get the ball more. It doesn't matter where. He had one run last week. Yeah.
Put your most electrifying player in the best positions, and that's on special teams.
He's good. I was kind of surprised they didn't use him a little bit more. So I think honestly they wanted to see what they had with Hampton. Like, let's give him the ball. Let's really work him, because you can't, as you said at the start of the show, you can't work him like that every week. He can't keep that up, can he? That's like Derrick Henry kind of stuff.
Yeah, but not Derrick Henry is an anomaly. Okay, he's not here. He's not human. He's not from here. But I always use Christian McCaffrey. I've never seen a guy. Christian McCaffrey took every rep in training camp in 2018. Every single rep in training camp. Every single rep. Christian McCaffrey takes almost every single rep in games if he can. But there were games in Carolina where we would come into the locker room and Christian would just be sitting at his chair at his locker, beat up, couldn't move. That's not what we want for Hampton. Like, that's not ideal, especially the way that the NFL is today. It's running back by committee. You have two capable guys, one guy who has been successful in the league for the past 4 years. Use them both to your advantage. That's why you have them.
Speaking of Derrick Henry, I was one of the morons right here. Thought the Ravens were going to win that game easily, and I turned it off. I was like,
I did too. I was flying and turned it off. I said, "Oh, this game is over. Let me watch Sinners."
Thought I wasn't alone there, KB. Thank you for joining me in that pile. And my neighbor was like, "Did you see that game last night?" I'm like, "Yeah, it was kind of boring." He's like, "Boring?" It's like a Bills, man. I was like, "What? Bills won that game?"
Yeah, I was sick.
Henry, 169 yards, 18 carries. You're right. He is not of this world. At 40, how old is he? 30, 31, 32. That's old for a running back.
Not this day and age, Pete. You could play forever. Well, Derrick Henry take punishment. He take hits, so we'll see.
Oh, God, yeah. So, and Allen, 394.
Jeez.
33 of 46, 2 touchdowns. What a fantastic game. I wish I would have watched it all. I'm sure I could watch a replay somewhere on the NFL Network or whatever. All right, guys. Good stuff. Getting ready for week 2. That's going to do it for us here on the Locked On Chargers Squad Show. For Kenyon Barner, 10 years in the league, 3 rings, and Jim Daniels, covering sports in LA since 2001. I am Pete Fox. We will be back with you Sunday afternoon.
Monday.
Game 2? It's Monday? Really?
Monday.
Wrong stadium, wrong day. All of you guys, Jim, you had the mantle of being the idiot for just 1 week. I have wrestled it away from you. So
I like to share.
Monday night after the Chargers and Raiders.
There we go.
Kenyon Barner, Pete Fox, and I believe Daniel Wade will be doing the Locked On Chargers Squad Show. So thanks for watching today. Have a good week, and we will talk on Monday. Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching. See you.